tell me what is most exciting to you about your work right now?
Oh, I can't narrow it down to just one thing, but I'll tell you about a couple. One of the things that is wonderfully exciting is working with people living with dementia in the early stages, because it's really changing the landscape. The previous older generation of people living with dementia, they had a different culture, a different mindset, and they haven't been speaking out that publicly. Baby boomers are changing that, and it's like having a mirror to look inside and learn, and sort of have them through first person narrative say what's important to them. It's putting a whole new face on that. So we have an advisory council made up entirely of people living with dementia, or I should say dementia symptoms in early stages, that direct and guide all the work that the Dementia Action Alliance does. And it's a privilege and a very exciting thing to do.
Karen, how can care partners and people living with dementia be advocates and help change the world through their advocacy?
Well, it's what you both do so very well, and that's storytelling. So one of the most wonderful outcomes of people speaking out and being candid about their own experience and their own story is that it's taking it sort of out of the closet and normalizing it. And if it becomes just part of a normal conversation, it changes the whole misperceptions and stigmas. And I'll give you an example, and I don't think she'd mind if we used her name because she's been very public about things. But Terry Berry lives in Virginia in a 55-plus community. She has an apartment there. She and her dog live there. She was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's 10 years ago. And I think she's only lived in this community maybe 2 or 3 years. But she's so natural about who she is. She just talks about it with all of the neighbors. And so now they have somebody living within that, they're getting to know what it's like to have dementia. For example, while I was there, I saw this. She forgot her laundry that she had put a load in. When the neighbors knocked on the door and said, "Hey, Terry, I saw your laundry basket. You forgot your laundry." And it was this lighthearted, sweet thing. Later on, we went walking through the community. She was giving me a tour, and a husband and wife came out of one of the apartments, and she said, "Oh, there's Mary and Joe." And we walked up, and she goes, "Joe has some kind of dementia." And as I'm shaking Joe's hand, he said, "Yeah, I have Alzheimer's. Hey, what you gonna do?" And I said, "Wait, stop, that's awesome that you were just so normal about it." And he said, "Well, Terry, having somebody that you can talk about it and make it real." So it is starting to change the way people are living fully. Doesn't mean they don't have problems, but they're starting to express more.
Karen, have there been some surprises for you in exploring creativity and dementia?
Well, I always say that working with elders is an honor and a privilege, because I am on a continual learning curve, and I'll tell a story on myself. We had a director of life engagement at one point who loved writing, and he decided to set up a poetry group, it was about 6 residents, and they all had fairly advanced dementia. And as he's explaining to me what he wants to do, I'm like, well, yeah, he's enthusiastic about it. But I'm thinking, well, they're all too far advanced. They're not going to be participating actively. Well, here's a moment of truth. I sat in one day, and his joy and enthusiasm sparked one of the other residents, and she is making up and reciting poetry. And I realized, don't come into anything with preconceptions. That life continues to be a learning, and so it especially saddens me when people say, "Oh, they're an empty shell," or there's nobody there. Oh, there's somebody there. It's up to us to figure out how to reach them.
Yes, that's so beautiful. I think it's a beautiful reminder to all of us to just open our hearts and be there for people where they are and invite them out and be ready to be surprised.
Oh, I love that. Open our hearts and be ready to be surprised. I'm going to quote you.
Good.